Wait a minute. That's not bad. I need the get a dog and a duck. You'll be happy. Squirrel. You're welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to go do a quick sweep on the patio and let our brothers and sisters know that we're about to start, and we'll get going. Good morning. Probably get my glasses already. Come on in, make yourselves comfortable. It's beautiful to see you. I'm looking at all of you at the same time. It was on. How is that? I see a green light. Better? Yes. That was good to see. I love the fact that my eyes are seeing you all at the same time. It is a beautiful, beautiful sight from where I'm standing. Thank you all for coming. If you'll look at your agenda booklet, please join me in the prayer for vestries at the top of the first page. Lord, you called the disciples to put their nets into deep water, to reach new depths as you stood beside them. Be with us now as we continue that mission in all we do as a vestry. Fill us with your spirit. Help us to know that we are only rowing the boat, not steering it. Lift up our sails with the breath of the Holy Spirit. Have our souls with the peace that only you can give. Remind us that the whole communion of saints encircles and upholds us. Ours is but a mission for a short time, Lord. So help us to do our work faithfully and joyfully, knowing that we will be guided by your love if we only say the word. Come, Lord Jesus, come. Good to have you all here. Calling to order our annual meeting for the year 2021. Hooray! So moving straight into business, our first item on the agenda is the approval of last year's annual meeting minutes. And unfortunately, we pointed Mary in the wrong direction when she was asking us, who did you talk to about as the retirees for vestry? And I said, oh, this is who retired from vestry in 2021. So unfortunately, we discovered this after all of this was printed and given to you. And I just want to draw your attention on page 3. When you see retirements from various ministries, Mother Page, where it says Melissa Allen Dorsey, it's like leaping through time. Kathy Ringrose and Nicola Riggle. Instead, I would love a motion that replaces those names with Fran Friesen, Dan Malden, Louis Karofsky, and Bob Hallett. Is a second on the floor? Thank you so much. All in favor of this amendment, please signal by saying aye. Any opposed or abstentions? I love it when we roll that easily. So, with that amendment, may I have a motion to accept these minutes as amended? So moved. And a second? Second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Or abstentions? Wonderful. Thank you so very much. And apologies to Mary, that was our fault, not yours. All right, I would like to introduce our senior warden, who is also the chair of the nominating committee, as he makes the nominating committee report. Kim Schaefer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have 4 outstanding candidates for vestry, and if each one of those could come forward as we mention your name, that would be awesome. Charlie Coffey. Let's hear it. Yeah, we're allowed to applaud. Jillian Crooks. Nancy Iverson. And Rick Atoki. These are our 4 candidates for vestry, and you can vote for 4.
We'll get to that.
Next, our convention delegates. She is not here today, but would her father come down to represent her? Megan Callan. Alan Smitty Dorsey. Fran Friesen. She's out of the Bob Howlett. Katrina Hunt. And Chris Miller. This is our slate, and let's hear it for all these wonderful candidates that
You may return to your seats. Can I have the microphone now? You'll only back in a few minutes, I promise. So may I have a motion to accept this slate? And a second. All in favor, please signal by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Because the election for vestry is uncontested, we have the opportunity to elect them by acclamation. May I have a motion to elect the vestry by acclamation? Thank you, in a second. This is the vote to vote by acclamation. All who are voting in favor of voting by acclamation, please signal by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed who really want to do this by hand? Any abstentions? The motion carries. All in favor of electing these 4 individuals to the St. Peter's Vestry, please signal by saying Hip hip hooray! 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 And hallelujah, it is done. Congratulations and thank you, our vestry candidates. And now I would invite you, we have an amazing slate for convention delegate as well. I invite you to use your ballot with your pencils and please vote for 5 candidates. And if we could get the ballot boxes ready to circulate, that would be marvelous. When you've voted, please raise your ballot folded in the air so that they can come around and pick up your ballot from you.
It's mine, I'll go there.
If you need a pencil, there's likely one over at the side
I put mine in the collection.
Ladies aside, here's over on this side, Molly on this side. It's a tough one, but you can't go wrong, I promise.
Did she say not cold or cold? I'm sorry. Did she say cold or not cold? I thought it was cold. Okay. Yeah, I heard the word cold, right? Yeah. You wanted them cold? You want them cold?
If you're waving it around, yes. If you're not waving it around, don't worry about it. We got a few more up front, Senior Warden.
He's right behind us. Oh, yeah, I love these.
Getting in all your steps, Tim.
My pleasure.
All your steps.
I thought you were surrendering.
Come on, eye hand coordination.
There you go.
It's easier that way.
You too. Everybody in one place at the same time? Yeah.
Are you ready? Yeah.
Yes.
Any more ballots outstanding? This is your shot. You're not giving away your shot? Okay. And it's my pleasure to introduce and welcome back Heather Maiden, our comptroller.
Thank you. It's nice to see you guys all here today. Glad we can do this in person this year. So, yes, 2021. Let's see. Oh, no. Okay, so our 2021 results. Our total revenue was $1,262,291, which is above our planned revenue. And the total expense is the same. We balanced out with a zero budget by putting $153,208 into a designated fund to roll to next year. And the reason we were able to do this is the 2 federal funding programs that we received. So the Paycheck Protection Program, in 2020, we applied for and received $118,797. But as of the end of the year, 2020, that loan had not been forgiven. So we didn't place it in revenue in 2020. It sat out there as a loan. And then in 2021, that was forgiven. And then we received an additional $58,551 in employee retention tax credits. We applied for $184,000 of employee retention tax credits. And we plan to receive the balance of that in 2022. So that's a ton of money that is helping support St. Peter's. And those two programs were put in place to keep staff employed. And that's how you get these credits, based on your payroll. It definitely made it so we could hire Father Cole this year. And then going forward, then we plan to be fully staffed by April 1st with a sexton and a children and young families minister, we hope. Okay, this is just another way to look at it. In the year 2020, we ended with a net loss of $77,991. And current year 2021, $153,208. So the amount that we're rolling forward actually is $75,217 that we plan to use in the future. Okay, our pledge and plate, our parishioner giving was $718,111, which was more than we budgeted, but it was quite a bit less than 2020, $40,442 less. And then our other operating revenue was $410,987. The thrift shop really came through. They almost made their budget, even though they closed because of the pandemic and the just awesome. And then other facilities use rental income, that's coming back now that we're open. And at the end of 2021, we did have some rental income, Senior Services Corporation grant, and then the federal funding. And then we did transfer from our endowment and our reserves and designated funds $133,000. The endowment transfers are used for property upkeep of our campus. That we did the flooring in the church. We did new appliances in the kitchen, and
The new roof in the education building.
new roof in the education building. Yeah, we had some big upkeep this year. And the reserves were clergy search and moving costs. And then Helping Hands, we were still having Del Mar Foundation supported Helping Hands to the tune of about $6,700 in 2021. And that amount was transferred. Okay, another way to look at the revenue, 2019, 20, and 21. So the bottom blue line is the parishioner giving, which has decreased. We're hoping in 2022 that will come back up when we're all getting back to normal. And then that top blue line on the right-hand side is the federal funding, and you can see that really did boost our revenue. Okay, another way, I'm saying the same thing over and over again. That money really, really came in handy. Okay, gifts for outreach. St. Peter's operating budget contributed $41,116 to our outreach, and then another $63,209 in designated funds. So people who donated directly to Afghan refugees, our back to school program, Episcopal Relief and Development, Joy to the World, EPPS, Helping Hands, North County Showers of Blessings, Beethoven, and then there were a few others. So 63,000 came in and pretty much went back out to those. And in 2021, the vestry voted to allocate 4% of our annual operating revenue to outreach starting in 2022. So dollar-wise, I think that brings it to like 45,000 versus the 41,000 there. So that's how our outreach is going to be budgeted going forward. And then the outreach committee designates where they want that to go and runs that by vestry. Okay, our assets at 12/31/21, $5,481,219. Operating cash accounts $311,473. Our Schwab reserve account $54,857. The endowment account ended the year at $2,092,140, which is awesome after completing our building project and everything that we have so much money in the endowment. And to note, so the endowment, we then plan to use 4% of the rolling balance of the endowment for property upkeep for the next year. So that's what we call campus care, and that money coming out of the endowment is budgeted, but we don't pull it out of the endowment unless we use it on our property projects.
We're gonna use it.
Okay, good. There's a lot to do, so yeah, lots of fun things we can do around here. And then the fixed assets. So the church increased quite a bit. The church is book value, which is next to nothing because we've been here for so long and it's depreciated. So the bulk of the church, like we added another 1.8 million with the Trinity project at the expansion of the thrift shop. Oh yeah, and I'd like to point out, this just cracks me up, the rectory. The rectory is on the books for $137,000. Yeah, because we bought it so long ago and then it's been depreciated.
We hold it.
Book value. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so the Trinity expansion project, we're going to hear more about this at the ribbon cutting today, but just super generosity from our parishioners and friends of St. Peter's. The St. Peter's Senior Services Corporation donated, and then the bequest from Hill and Buckland and Douglas and Mary Ann Harvey really made it so that we could do the construction this year. The total cost, $1,904,809. And then any new gifts, anything we receive from here on out for the Trinity expansion will be put into our endowment and it will go towards upkeep of the new property. Okay, 2022. So our parishioner giving is budgeted to be $725,294. It's an increase of $7,183. And then the total revenue, $1,295,162, which is a projected increase of $32,871. Pledge cards. We've received $471,693 in pledges, which is awesome, from 135 members. And this is up from 2021, where we received $447,000 from 129 members. Pledge cards, still welcome to come in if you would like to. And then the expenses, the budgeted expenses are laid out here. The big blue, as you can see, is staffing. Staffing is a huge part of, I think, of any church. It's the people. And then property, we're budgeted to spend $152,000. Diocese pledge, we pledge to the diocese 10.5% of our revenue every year. So that is a large amount that goes out to the diocese to do the good works of the Episcopal Church. Administrative, music, the ministries, outreach, 41. It's the same amount as last year. So the 4%, I guess, is the same amount as last year. And then thrift shop is mainly supplies now. And
Because the staff is rolled into the bigger staff.
yeah, the staff is now rolled into staff, and okay, we're presenting a balanced budget for 2022. We expect to receive $83,000 in additional ERTC funding. Thrift shop, we're assuming that the thrift shop will do $224,500 in sales. It's a 93% increase over last year. So it was, the thrift shop was closed down last year for a good portion. We're averaging about $20,000 a month. So, I mean, hopefully it will hold. But it's remodeled, expanded, and open 6 days a week. Our senior services grant has been cut down from $60,000 a year to $29,810. The Senior Services Corporation is granting 4% of their the balance of their investment account annually, and that is it's cut down so that the Senior Services Corporation can continue to exist into the future. The 4% is just standard what you can take from your earnings, hopefully. And okay, full staffing at 4122. New sexton, new children, and young family semester. And is that it? That is it. Any? Yes, Harry.
I think we owe a real round of applause to Heather and the staff for maintaining our financial health during a very difficult couple of years.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Any questions for Heather?
Okay, well, I am here quite a bit of the time, and feel free to call or email me. And so my counters, we're now going to go count in the library, right?
Right. If you said yes to being a teller, please join Heather and come back letting us know who our convention delegates are. Heather, again, thank you so much for your ministry and for this morning. We're really blessed. At other churches, literally want her to come be Heather for them. So love on her when you get a chance to. Yeah, no coaching, not allowed. We're willing to let her coach their people, but that's the long and short of that. And now if I could introduce again our senior warden for his report. Very welcome.
(2021). Thank you, St. Peter's. Thank you. Despite the continuing challenge, as Heather has detailed, your vestry is happy to report that we are in solid financial condition. Our 2021 budget is balanced, and of December 31st, we have over $2 million in our endowments. Thank you, parishioners of St. Peter's. We just gave her thanks, but we cannot give Heather, our comptroller, thanks enough for her role not only in safeguarding our numbers, but applying for and receiving all possible government assistance. Be sure to send her a kind note. I'm sure she'll love it. Thank you, Heather, and thank you, parishioners of St. Peter's. As you might imagine, your vestry worked exceptionally hard this past year. Parishioners of St. Peter's, let us thank every member of this outstanding vestry. Thank you, class of 24. Please stand. Brian Friesen. Katrina Brown Hunt. Where's Katrina? And Katrina's in the back. Kirby Baker. Megan Town is not able to be with us today. Class of 23, I see her in the back. Go ahead and stand up, Annie Quotline. Harry Wilbur. And Jeff Dysart. Class of 22, Chiz Robin. Jim Munger. He's always working on something special. And Nancy McMahon. She's working on her too. And a special thank you to our junior warden, Bob Halleck. to vestry.
Yay!
Finally, let us now thank the individual who has been our navigator through uncharted public health challenges. She never wavered. She kept our staff in place despite uncertainty, even finding room to give them raises and hire Mother Susan Astorita and Father Cole Gruber. She oversaw and completed a major building project. She never once missed a beat. She was always there for us. Yes, she is our super priest on behalf of the entire parish. Thank you, Mother Page.
Well, thank you, and it's been an honor. And as I said last year, since not going through this pandemic was not an option, it would have been all of our first choice, right? Because let's pass on the pandemic. I'm glad I got to do this with you. We're glad too. Oh, okay. Verklempt. Well, that was a lot of thank yous, Kim. And you actually beat me to the punch because I was going to ask the vestry to stand for recognition, but I love you all. It's been amazing, vestry. You've been incredible. And so, you stole my thunder, but that's okay. I won't make you say it again. It's all right. Dear St. Peter's, thank you for being such an amazing parish in 2021. While it was challenging, primarily outside the parish, within it was a year of joy, resurrection, reunion, construction, lots of construction, and renovation, and incarnation. Your willingness to be patient, to show up and help make St. Peter's be St. Peter's, whether that showing up was online or in person, you and God working through you made St. Peter's 2021 as remarkable as it was. Looking back, we had Ashes to Go drive-thrus, communion to go, and Easter online. Our first in-person services in our now consecrated parking lot. Remember that? This is your parking spot. Don't leave it. For God's sake, don't hug each other, right? Oh my. Online, we had Bible studies, discipleship groups, and a Zoom forum in which we read through the Bible together. And we had construction. Lots and lots of construction. And a fabulous contractor in First Mark, and most of all, an amazing leader in Peggy Martin, who gave us the gift of serving as our owner's rep and construction manager. And even though the part of the new construction we've been able to use the most has been the breezeway, do not call it a tunnel. The breezeway, it's already a gift. The renovated thrift shop has experienced a renewal as well, as you have heard, and there was much rejoicing among volunteer staff and customers. Our outreach ministries of Helping Hands and Showers of Blessing continue to be blessing through your dedicated volunteer hours and partnerships with the Del Mar Foundation, the City of Del Mar, and local restaurants. And this fall, after many months online, we brought back Sunday school and a 2-service worship schedule with choir members of all ages singing at both services. And we even worshiped inside our beloved church in November until Christmas Eve and Christmas. And we welcomed new associates in Mother Susan and Father Cole. federal government. And between all y'all, we ended the year with such financial strength, we were able to plan for a 2022 of strength as well. Thank you to our faithful and dedicated staff and volunteers who continue to live out transformative ministries of incarnate love. Please take the time to read through the annual report, whether you read the hard copy and make notes in the margins, or whether you read it online. And join me in giving thanks to God for all the ways Christ has been made incarnate here through all of you. It's important to note that with all of this joy, we also have been living in almost 2 years of pandemic. And we are tired. Almost all of us. We are weary, and we're beginning to see some sustainability issues, and we're aware of our limitations. There's holiness in that, however, because when we realize our limitations, we remind ourselves that God is God, and we are not. And we count on God for the rest. That being said, we're keeping God and our love of Jesus at the center of all that we do, and we trust that in so doing we'll be able to follow God's call and live Christ's mission of love in 2022 and beyond. Thank you again. With so much love. So other acknowledgments. I can't see all the way to the back of the room. A lot of you are backlit, but even though she did not retire in 2021, I want to recognize Lee Conkle and her ministry. She resigned in early 2022, and we'll recognize her retirement then. But I want to name and acknowledge that transition. We also have retirements. I'm not counting everything as a retirement, because I know a whole bunch of us needed to take some time off because of the pandemic. So if you decided to stop doing a thing because of the pandemic, I'm not prepared to call that a retirement yet. Which might make this list longer next year. But I do want to acknowledge Chris Miller's retirement after 21 years of faithful service. Members who started this pandemic with us: Alan Chapman, Melissa Collins Porter, who was also our junior warden, Kathy Greenrose, and Nicola Riggle. So thank you so much. We have a very fun tradition at St. Peter's that, did we even try to do it last year online? Yes. Like turning off our cameras or something? How could we have done that last year online? Perhaps we could have done that. We have a tradition of acknowledging longevity at St. Peter's, shall we say. And many of us can remember Nancy Atherton, Craig Starkey, and Pat Carson kind of having a showdown at the end of that. But first, I'd like those of you who've been at St. Peter's for a year or less to stand, just to change this up a little bit. Wonderful. You know Father Cole, Mary joins us from All Saints Pasadena. Mary, it's wonderful to have you with us. So those of you who have been here for a long time, get to know Mary and Father Cole and let them know that we're way around. Now if I could invite everybody to stand. Get out the cake. And if you've been a member of St. Peter's for 5 years or less, please have a seat. And if you've been a member of St. Peter's for 10 years or less, please have a seat. If you've been members of St. Peter's for 15 years or less, please sit down. 15. So those of you who are newer, start to note who the long-timers are, and all the wisdom, right? If you've been a member of St. Peter's for 20 years or less, please sit down. And 25. 35, 40, 45, Brian. Brian is the last man standing.
We can stop right now.
At 45. Yes, correct person and Brian. I'm sorry.
5-2. Nobody said there was going to be math.
Well, indeed, I couldn't see you beyond the pillar, Pat. Well, I thought maybe you were ultra gilding. So, yes, indeed. Well, that's a fun tradition. But I thought it would be good to know who was here newer, so that we could greet them as well. So, do we have a result from our tellers yet?
Nope.
Really? Wow. Okay, because guess what time it is? It's like 9:55. We're running early. Knock knock. Oh, here they come. You're lucky stars. My knock knock jokes.
Drum roll.
Yeah.
Here they come.
Come with the ballot boxes. I can't. So our convention delegates will be Megan, Alan, Fran, Bob, and Chris. And that means Katrina is our alternate. So yay team, thank you all. And now you can thank Heather, in addition to her stewardship, for saving you from some really bad knock-knock jokes. If there is nothing else, are we ready to, oh, Joe.
Yeah.
Kevin. I'm not sure anybody was happier than Kevin when we started moving back in person. Except it's still online. Right? So Kevin did the editing, as you may remember, for our pre-recorded weekend services, but he is still doing the clipping, editing, beautifying, and posting for our weekday services. So Kevin, thank you. Thank you for that ministry. Okay, friends, shall we pray? The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Gracious God, we give you thanks. We give you thanks for the ways you have sustained us during this challenging time, for the ways your Holy Spirit has sustained us and carried us through, for the ways that your Son Jesus has been incarnate with us and in us and through us. We ask that you continue to bless us and bless this church as we do the work you call us to do, to be your church's mission in this part of the world. Help us be always mindful of the call of your voice, and we ask for the strength, courage, and will to follow where you lead us. Amen. Amen. Well, friends, thank you so much. This meeting is adjourned.